Hey, good morning, everyone. Another gap up, a little smaller. Good morning, Rocco, Patrick, everyone, Alex, Dan. All right, let's see what's going on here today. Steve? Hey. All right. So I titled the slide, Are the Markets Overbought Yet? And I've said for years it's a meaningless word because you can measure it any way you want. It doesn't stop it from going up, it just creates a belief that it can't go higher. And clearly it can. Something that we mentioned earlier in the week was that this move started from this whippy consolidation. And it wasn't as if, it made an advance, like from this part here where, it made the move, had the correction bar, and then accelerated again. The surprising thing is how the breadth has still not, it's getting closer to reaching an extreme. I can't show you on this platform, but sentiment is getting close. And maybe by the end of the week, we're going to have that risk off signal, which has not been the case for quite a long time. And it's all about semiconductors and AI. And we can hear more lately, it's a bubble. And references to 1999 and so on. But time will tell. Uh, is it extended at this point on a short term basis? It absolutely is. Um, when we start measuring distances from, say, the 50 period moving average, the 20 period moving average, and ultimately distances from support. So right now, from the 50 MA, the S&P 5, the spiders are about 4.5%. And that's short-term extended, but it's not nosebleed territory. Um, Markets being up, last I looked, I think the semiconductor index was closing in on close to 150% this year, which is crazy. Well, it is what it is. But at some point, it's going to pull back. That's for sure. And so the good thing is that it did start from this period of consolidation. Let's put that there, um, which is what we call it minor support. Now you've got all these unfilled gaps. Well, not so much here. We have to look at spiders, but there's a big unfilled gap here. And the pullback, when it happens, it's going to look pretty nasty, especially intraday. And I'm sure there are others like myself that are looking for that to happen because it's going to be a good opportunity for shorting uh, futures or leverage ETFs from an intraday trading point of view. From a swing trading point of view, depending on how it pulls back, it's going to be a buying opportunity. Um, so we SOH avoid, well, you never chase, and here's the, I guess it's a problem. It is what it is. When prices gap up this far, you could look at this in hindsight and say, man, I should have bought it. Well, man, I should have bought this breakout. And there's nothing, from here that stops anyone from buying a move like this, especially when it starts from a little consolidation. These ranges are big. You say, well, I got to share size it down there. And well, so be it. So even if you did, you got no ad yet. You have no ad pattern. There's no correction bar. So I guess having a little is better than having none, but nothing to do at this point, but just wait for the pullback. And also, do not short this from a swing trading perspective. When I say shorting it intraday, I mean intraday. And so our step-by-step systematic analysis, I mentioned it this week, well, in the past, what's the first reference point of support in any time frame? It's the prior day's low. So as we see these prices advancing as they have, you track prior day's low. Does it violate a prior day's low? That keeps you objective. And if it violates it, does it do it on a closing basis? So the first red bar is going to set up at least intraday setups, and I may give it a shot, shorting it before it violates a prior day's low as an intraday setup. If I get that kind of a setup intraday, nothing wrong with that. You're in control. Intraday, we can get out and share size accordingly. So as we go through these, we look and see is anything even getting close to breaking below a prior day's low. What we see is momentum is slowing. And we'll get to the spiders, but the distance between the gaps is getting smaller. The ranges are starting to get smaller, which leads to breaking a prior day's low at some point. So here are the cues up again, or the futures. So far in our range, it's only a little after 9 o'clock, that range can get bigger. And that would be another indication of the end of a move. So moves can end by just momentum slowing down. That's actually good. Good really compared to what? Well, a narrow range bar is relatively easy to violate a prior day's low, but momentum slowing down and then prices pulling back historically, like this, momentum begins to slow down and they begin to pull back and you get to one of these little hook patterns, little buy setups versus today accelerating higher and it becoming a wide range bar. And you say, Greg, how can that happen? It's up, as much as it is in a short amount of time. How could this accelerate higher and maybe push its way up toward that, 62, 500, something like that? That leads to whatever type of corrections that aren't viable in the short term, meaning they tend to be more erratic. Whereas if we just get a narrow range day and it pulls back like that, that's another opportunity. So we're going to see, where today goes. Right now, as things are up a bit and they're not flying, but you can see they're actually stalling. As we look at the 65-minute chart, we've got a little down bar there, and you got your support levels. And so I did a little video last night for our service called MT Weekly Advantage, where we reviewed trades from the letters, how they were managed. It's educational. MT Live recordings are in there, and we do lessons. And one of the lessons was about time corrections and voids and how turning points occur. So a little plug for that service. If you're looking for a great service, $37 a month. MT Live recordings, lessons, trade reviews. It's great service. All right, so let's continue. So this little sideways price action is the beginning of what could be at least intraday pullbacks for those that want to short these futures contracts or leverage ETFs on a short-term basis for income trades. So this is beginning to create a little bit of a void here. So we can see if we get some kind of pullback going or not. Or right now it's just going sideways. It's building that void, move up, and the time correction. No confirmation as of yet of turning lower. Now, the Russell, the redheaded stepchild, which it often is not participating. And this started the day lower, like it was going down here, and it just halted and flipped right back up again. And now it's back down. And the daily chart, while sloppy, it's at a point where I think buyers, if need to start accumulating. Right? I mean, it's just a mess overall, but it's on this little support area where it could start to bring up the rear. Money rotates out of what's strong into what's weaker, and this could have a little rotation and start to move back up again. I'm going to see. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to watch this today, and we'll see whether, hey, even if it dips down again, down to this, maybe down to this area, does it stabilize? Whatever. I mean, it may go a bit lower, and then so when we look at this and it's on support, it's like, oh, it's got to turn here. Well, no, it doesn't have to turn here. It could go a bit lower, and we could get a bottoming tail bar where it comes down here intraday and rips higher. So we don't know. And we don't know yet. We're just waiting to see how this is going to shape up today. All right. The Dow futures, and so far, just inside here, just flip-flopping back and forth. It's up here today. Caterpillar's up, more AI. Right? They make machinery to dig holes, besides other things. And so Caterpillar reported earnings, and that's gapping up big. Okay. Oil's down a little bit. And one of the things that I've learned over the years, well, kind of discount listening to the media, CNBC, and what's going on there. One of the things to listen for when they have these people on that are managing money is when you hear a recurring theme. And one of the recurring themes that I've heard is a lot of talk about buying energy stocks. And, oil is broken down and, it had this rip to the upside. And a lot of energy stocks did. Some, as always, relative strength, relative weakness. But when you hear them talking the same thing, it means that they're all being fed the same information and they're managing money. And so you want to look at those charts and see what looks like an opportunity. So that's one of the things that I'll be looking for, right? Is those energy stocks that rip like this, that they start to pull back, because this could be another one of those rotations into laggards. And so not so much crude oil. Crude oil just needs to be stabilized. And I've seen over the years crude oil go down and energy stocks go up. And I've seen it crude oil go up and energy stocks go down. So it's not a lockstep correlation where they do that. In any event, go look at some energy stocks and look at the way they came off of that low. Some of them very impressive. Gold starting to take hold here. One green bar, especially at the beginning of the day, doesn't mean anything. Well, we'll see. At some point, they're going to come back for this. I think down here would be a more opportune place, but we'll see how it begins to shape up. Silver coming off of that low, congestion right there, so that's not ready yet. Bitcoin, I don't know. You know what? Last week, we talked about making a W, shallow retracement and retest, and in part it's that, but it's just a mess. It just hasn't been able to get going yet. So set alerts. It's just not ready. And what interest rates we got to take a look at. Yep, I got them ready already. Done. Go check out chart of the week on interest rates if you haven't read it. Some good information as far as interpreting interest rates and how they affect the markets. But so far stabilizing here. And we always look to the left, stabilizing at the support. So we'll see if they begin to stabilize a little further and move up or whatever they're going to do. We don't want to see them break down in any significant way. All right, let's just look at gaps and we'll do SPX. And so this is gapping up. I mean, I don't know if you saw, probably you did. I mean, NVIDIA yesterday. Wow. And now it's gapping up again, up to there. I would think. I mean, there's no sign of going back down, but look, it's up from 180 to 208. Maybe it hits 210 today. I think there's got to be a call spread opportunity somewhere in there. But You know, we got to see some sign of weakness, which is not there yet. So semiconductors, just AI, that's the future. Is it a bubble? Is it going to crash? Well, some people think it's going to. Um, Clearly, it's not something that's going to go away. It's going to grow, continue to grow. All right, so S&Ps are gapping up at yesterday's high. So the gaps are getting smaller. Uh, Yesterday's low was our first reference point of support, and see if it violates that or not. And I think SPX, the call strike, is ridiculous at this point, as it always does become ridiculous as markets move up like this. So, and it's on the other side of 69.50. And so price is gapping up here, and they're betting that it's going to go up there today. I don't think so. That's all the credit spread is I don't think so. So, and I don't think it's going down there today either. There you have it. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. We got FOMC day, and we were talking yesterday about somebody asked, "Hey Dan, is this run up going to limit the FOMC move?" And my quick answer, we spoke about it for a while, but my quick answer was, I view it similar to an earnings stock, pending news. Whenever you have a big run into an event, whether the news event causes a reversal or causes it to accelerate, I still think we're at a short-term turn. We don't have a turn yet, but that's my answer. So yeah, 2 o'clock and then 2:30, I'll expect whip the whole day. And it's not a good day to take new swings unless it's really a nice setup. I usually like to wait the following morning, and again, I'm not going to be adding new longs unless it's something unique. Like LOW here has been on my list for a while, but I'm waiting for after the FOMC by a breakout. But yeah, back to NVIDIA, we were long this on this day. Nice breakout, little downside bottoming tail shakeout, void. And what's today, Wednesday? So Monday, this 30-minute low, unfortunately, stopped us out. Yeah, so it's now 5 trillion. And I said yesterday, I would love for this to gap up $20. And I kind of said that in jest because that's a 10% gap. And look, it's gapping up 750. Just insane. So, you could do the math in your head of how many more trillion that is, gapping up, what, 3%? So yeah, that's definitely on my list for a call spread. I don't have a single alarm going off. So we don't have a big inventory right now for obvious reasons. Let's go right to earnings. I deleted a bunch already because there's so many out there. NDG, gold, 680. Nice gap, buy on a pullback. Let's see, there was another gold here. Where are you? This one, Segal. Very similar pattern, making a multi-bar turn, but I wouldn't chase those unless they pulled back, but both those look good. Mondelez, I said, if it opened flat, short the low. The gap's messing it up, getting down $3. Break even. That's a bullish pattern. Buy setup, a little bear sandwich. The gap's too big. EMPH is a solar stock, bearish gap, but you can check the sector. Fizzlers in there, no pattern. Tan is the sector. That's an amazing run. Even with, Trump going after this sector of killing subsidies and so forth. That's an amazing run. Caesar's Palace. Ugly. So is this a sign of the consumer slowing down? Bearish daily, weekly, monthly, but capping down 10%, down from 28, down a lot. But you can check the cousins. OBS, wow, it's been on a tear. Win, Boyd, MGM. MGM looks weak too, but that still has support here. STX, 237, bullish gap in a trading range. WBC is a cousin, so say that's gapping up. That's gapping up in sympathy. And this one has earnings tomorrow, though. And it's SanDisk. Those are the three cousins. Look at that, gapping all-time highs. Look at this incredible move. Unreal. $40 to 186. Unreal. Visa was down earlier, but that's no pattern. Paradigm 170, big old gap. That's a big gap, dog. No, that was not. Well, I don't know if it is or not. Gotta go look to the left more. But there's no pattern. And that's an igniting gap. It's not a gap and crap setup. And I see SMHs also, you got that, you got Teradyne, you got NVIDIA. Wow, that's gapping up $5. This can be a call spread watch. Because this one always has good juice. Again, it's bullish as can be. It was actually on my long list. I'm an ascending triangle. See that? And then there's a gap breakout. Flowers. It shows a trade at 55, which would be too big. EIX, nothing, but it's a sloppy buy setup. Hey, see that this is from a retracement from a rounded top. But it is bullish daily, weekly though. I'll put it on the list, but that's one that needs a couple of days of marinating. So this cream was on our list from yesterday. See, it was a buy setup, but I was saying in the green room I wanted a bottom and tail because I just this is going sideways, and I wanted a closing breakout, which as you can see did not happen, and now it's getting down back to where I was in fairness. And there's a couple stocks here that are getting their heads taken off. BRNS. Look at that. So I throw it into the excessive category. Let's see what it does. This is gapping into prior lows. Let's see what it does. Look at that load. It took out two prior pivots, but this is a void. See, this is fluid move down from a V top, but it has to get over Monday's high. It's kind of a breakout, but I don't know about the target. Low G, strong, top of the range, but strong. Learn is another one here, getting his head chopped off. Look at that. When you cannot even see the price on your weekly chart, That's pain. Oh, Sam, I didn't see the score last night. I'm assuming since Alex has a blue jaybird there that they won. TRTX, not bad. 6-2. All right, cool. Here's a gap breakout, 624. HRZN, that could be a 30-minute high. AAT, no pattern. It's a bottoming pattern. I have an alarm up here at 2160. Cat. I texted Greg this morning. I said, I am shocked that the diamonds were not up more with such a monster gap in cat. And now, in the video also. And so I looked at the Dow 30 and I'm like, what's dragging it down? And I thought maybe a UNH would be down 15 to balance it out. So very strange to me that the diamonds are not more. It's a mathematical formula, or else there'd be arbitrage. So I guess the head scratcher to me. 4075 Verizon. Now you can check the cousins, but that's a nasty downtrend. Now, this is one ADP. I said this could be another reflection of the weakening labor market. Paychecks has been weak, and I said if it opened flat, we would short it, but gapping down $10. How am I going to get on board? CVS, that's bullish gap, maybe 30-minute high. GSK, I mean, more of a day trade. Get an intraday setup. Tell that's extended. FI's getting his head chopped off. Look at that, $72 from 126 close. Insane. AEP is a bullish gap, but you need a pullback. PISX was up. I have an alarm up here at 135.50. Garmin's gap in here to the 200. I will put that in a window just to see what it does. Sometimes it's just magical. Buyers just step the friggin' put a buy order at the market open. But I don't know. Otis, that's a bullish breakout, cap breakout, but you need a pullback. This extended 77.50, gapping under a green bar. Call spread watch for Friday. I got less than a minute here. This is a nice bottoming pattern, but the gap's too big. Wow, wowzer. That's a beautiful greater than 100% retracement, little bull flag, but the gap's too big. EGBN alarm, little sell setup. Sam, I think that was on your list there. Oh, UMC earnings. I bought call options on this, and I actually put an order out to sell, and I did not get filled. But this is a bullish pattern, so I bought the in the money $7 calls, and I don't like the sell up right now, but I'll just deal with it. Open. We are in this. I had a low alarm, but it's early alarm. So I'll just reset it. Dock in low alarm. We're in that also. We have pretty light inventory. Been selling in strength. All right, yeah, that's an early alarm, but looks like a little failed breakout. Hughes holding the best, just like yesterday. All right, docking alarm, like 39. Remember, Fed day today, so I wouldn't be expecting any new swing trades from me. All right, I got a couple more earnings here. Almost done. This one, another one, got his head chopped off. Although that one I wouldn't fade. That's a big gap, but it's ugly. That's an ugly gap. And I'm coming in hard. UMC. Oh, that's the one what was one. ITT is bullish. Put spread I do. I don't like it as a swing because you don't have a big void, but put spread if there's anything. CLH. This thing hasn't printed yet. Hasn't printed. Because 230 would be down here. And it's still showing yesterday's green bar. That's weird. EVR ugly, but that looks lower. That's a nasty gap. Meg. Yeah. Let's see if I have an alarm. I do not. So I will put an alarm at 65, 65. Q's new high. ELSE. We have a put spread and that's stopping out at a gain. We have the 1412, and it was a tighter break even. Yeah, so that's out break even. Oh, shoot, my UMC. It's turned ugly. Hey, Sam, 2 days to Halloween. You'll have to over the slow period give us a picture of your costume. I'm assuming you're going with Alex to a party.
ERE is going down again. Nobody cares. XLF is down.
Yeah, Mike just got an alarm on our Bank of America. But it's an early alarm. I bailed on mine yesterday. I'm personally flat. All right, but our stop was 5184, so it's an early alarm. Hey, Greg, you know what would make the bearish turn better for me? Is if my brother called demanding that we put my dad into equities for him. That would put the icing on a retracement. SGI, this is a short.
This LDI that you were in, I think,
Yeah.
last week is starting to form a hook.
Yeah, the flying cars.
No,
I
no,
know.
that was S something, SEV.
Oh,
LDI is something else, isn't it?
yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's Lone Depot. Look at the title. Yeah, looks great. Our open new low. That's man, we had a nice open gain and that turned to garbage. Yeah, I did too. I looked on the video on flat just because I trade tighter, but I also make less money on swings.
Yeah. Delta 20 sharing NIO. How do they take out those highs? Starting off strong, first 5 minute bar.
VIX new high. Neo, little EV company. Yeah, yeah. Looks like it could bounce a little bit. Check check some of the leading cousins, ribbons, truck guys. That could be a put spread. 13s. And cents for writing. That opens. Neon up is 603, nothing to do. Open. Our stop. Oh, it's still under the WRB. So we still have a long way to go on open. Video. Look at this beast. I'll bet there's juice at the 220s. In fact, I guarantee it. Because now the greed factor is up. Yeah, you can go to 222.50 and get $1. And actually, there's zero open interest, which means that this just opened up yesterday. Man,
Short SPXL here. You better stop like, I don't know, 50 cents to do it.
say, Robert.